In this episode, I'll be unboxing the Film Focus Jennifer Connelly box set from Imprint Films. Welcome to Robert Bellissimo at the Movies. This is a YouTube video podcast where we explore all things cinema. And today I will be unboxing this great box set from Imprint Films. Imprint Films is Via Vision, the Australian physical media company. Imprint is like a sub-company from Via Vision, and I just recently got this, which is such a fantastic box set from an extraordinary actor, Jennifer Connelly. So why don't we first just dive in? I'll just show you this. Here's our side of the very beautiful Jennifer Connelly. There's the back, and we have a quote, which I'll read out here. Jennifer Connelly quote on acting: "Acting is great. You do the research and work with other talented people. The ability to express yourself completely is the most wonderful feeling in the world. Each film is a chapter in my life." Great quote. Just pop the top. This is nice. Really looks great on the shelf. And so let's dive in. I'll first show this. This is like a little picture with a little sticky thing, and it's taped to the back, but I just peel it off and it fits in the box quite well. But that gives you a rundown of everything that is inside the box set if people want to just take a screenshot and read that. But I'll look closely as to what is in each movie. All the great features. So we have these three, and it's also got the spine numbers, which you'll see on the side: 240, 241, 242. So the 240, and this was the first viewing for me, is Career Opportunities, which is, of course, written by John Hughes. He didn't direct this, though. This was directed by Bryan Gordon. I'll read a little summary here, which, again, if you want to take a screenshot, and that gives you all the special features, as well as a synopsis. And I will quickly read that out. The life of a smooth-talking small-town guy suddenly takes a turn for the fantastic when he finds himself locked inside the local department store one night with the daughter of the town's wealthiest citizen. So I'll just talk a little bit about the film because I hadn't seen it before, and I knew the iconic scene of of Jennifer Connelly on the mechanical horse as she's riding it, and of course we all know what that looks like, and she's subtly seducing the guys watching, and I hadn't seen it before, and it's, to be honest, it's okay. I know even John Hughes didn't like the film. It to me, it took some of the great things about his films prior, like The Breakfast Club. I mean, he's the king of the teen comedies of the 80s and the struggles that teenagers face. And this it had that Breakfast feeling where the two people who wouldn't talk to each other in high school because one's like the most gorgeous woman in the school, and you'd imagine that'd be intimidating, and he's like the nerdy guy, right? And of course, as they get to know each other, they find that they have a lot in common and that they're not as different as maybe they thought, which is very much part of the Breakfast Club. So I like the concept of this guy who's he's having trouble at home. His parents want him to get a job. He's sort of struggling. He's he's a charmer. He lies a lot about all the things he's doing. He wears all these masks. He's eager to impress people. So I like that, and then I like the idea. Again, he gets this job at Target to be a cleaner at night, overnight, and then he gets trapped in there with her, and she stayed overnight, and she's rebelling against her father, who's abusive and domineering. And of course, they find that they have a lot in common, and it's this love story that blooms. So I like that aspect of it, but where the film falls flat is really the subplots. Like we have the two criminals, the goofy guys, who break in and then put guns to them and try to rob the target. Really well played by I didn't realize they were brothers, Kieran Mulroney and Dermot Mulroney, who do a little interview, which I'll get into. One of the special features, which is a really really good interview with them. And so again, I just thought that sort of took away from what was interesting about what was going on between the two of them. And so that I just thought, it's whatever. It's just a goofy subplot that was okay. And then the other subplot is the father trying to find her. And so, again, and it's like the happy ending and idealist ending of the two of them winding up together. So it's very Hollywood in that sense, but it just really overall didn't work as well as I think it could have. It may have been interesting because just from hearing about it on paper, it's like the guy in a Target who's the nerdy guy in town with the most beautiful woman stuck in there. It sounds like a fantasy. And it may have been interesting if the audience didn't really know whether it was a fantasy or not the whole time, or if it was just the two of them the whole time. But again, you see, that already sounds a little more like an art film, a little more like Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, Before Midnight, the trilogy, where it's just the two people talking the whole time. I think that could have been interesting. But again, this is a major film, motion picture by Universal, so they're not going to do that. I'd imagine anyways that it's not something they would have done. So I really do wonder what John Hughes was, because he said he didn't like the film. A lot of his ideas didn't get in. As we know in Hollywood, even though he's credited as the writer, it may have changed over time. Once the writer gives it over, things get changed and you don't have to get the writer's permission. But then again, he was also the co-producer, so he must have had a lot more power than your average screenwriter. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but overall it's okay. But where it really shines also is the performance from Jennifer Connelly, as well as Frank Whaley, who was really really good. I thought they had a great rapport. And what's so strong about Jennifer's acting, and here, she was like 19 or 20 when she did this, is that she's incredibly subtle, and she doesn't try to, like, this is a comedy, and, she was like a big, when she was young, really well known and in that teen comedy world, the object of desire, that sort of thing. And she never sort of tries hard to be funny. She's never going for laughs or trying to manipulate anything in that sense. She just kind of plays it in a very straightforward way. And she has such a strong presence and a real piercing glaze and an intensity. And even the scene that I mentioned earlier, like on the mechanical horse, she decides to seduce those robbers as a way to trick them. And so she just flirts in a very, very subtle, very, very subtle way. And again, it's really powerful. She doesn't feel the need to do too much. And so I thought that worked really, really well. So just to jump into the special features here, we have a 1080p high definition presentation from a 2K scan, audio commentary by director Bryan Gordon, which was done just this year, interior night, director of photography Donald McAlpine on filming career opportunities. That was actually really, really good, that interview, because actually I didn't realize he's Australian, and he did like a film I really like called My Brilliant Career. When he went to the States, he worked with Paul Mazursky and did Tempest, which is a film I really, really like with John Cassavetes and Jenna Rollins. So it's interesting to then see him do something like this, which is so totally different than those two movies. So he talked about really enjoying working on this. And then after that, like I said, Crafting Criminals, interview with actors Kieran Mulroney and Dermot Mulroney, who are brothers, and they're really funny actually. And they appear to be incredibly close as well, as they both have the same career and went to Hollywood together and were in this film together. And they told some great stories as well about the making of this and how really the John Hughes movies, this film opened up doors for them. And apparently the mechanical horse, it was that scene, which is so iconic, was something that was improvised. It was something that, you don't think 3 decades later that it's going to be, such an iconic scene, but it's something that came about, I suppose, on the day or maybe in rehearsal. I don't know the details, but again, such an iconic moment. And one other thing I wanted to say about Jennifer Connelly in this film is that when the robbers have guns on them and they have her and Frank Whaley on the floor, if you look over at her, there's just a tear down her eyes and just the look of fear on her face. Again, she's not thinking, oh, I'm in a comedy, I can't cry or whatever, like it's too dramatic. No, it just seemed to happen, and from the fear of having a gun on you. And so again, you can see that this was an actor who was, should be taken seriously, and took a while to be taken seriously, because in the 90s, again, she was pigeonholed in that sort of teen 80s 90s comedy sort of stories. Again, she is very, very beautiful. She was the object of desire often, and so that to transform into more mature adult roles was very challenging. And for anyone who becomes really successful as a teenager, that has always been very, very difficult once you're already seen in a certain light. And so, which, I should actually from here jump into this, which is a nice booklet of essays that comes in here, which I really, really enjoyed. And I'll just, show you, some really dense text here with some great photos on set, the director of one of the films. And so these were really, really good. And, they were really passionate. I mean, it's a really nice picture too. On-set photos. And what I like so much about it is like the passion that the writers had for not just her as an actor, but for the films itself and the directors. But the first one by Blake Howard is called You See What Jennifer Connelly Wants You to See. And he talks about how, from her first movie, Once Upon a Time in America, again, she's also someone is the object of desire, where this young boy's spying on her as she's practicing dance, ballet, I believe. And, right away, she was playing those parts even as a kid, but that she has a real intensity in her eyes and a mystery, and has a real piercing glaze. And I thought, yeah, it's true. She looks like she's, when she's looking at someone in a scene, like she looks like she's just looking right in their soul. So there's a darkness about her as well. And I think what we later saw her take on parts like Requiem for a Dream, I'm not surprised she was able to enter into really darker territory and more dramatic territory. And so because she does have a real, again, intensity and also has a sort of vintage look about her. That's why she has played a lot of characters in time periods, like even like A Beautiful Mind, where she won an Oscar, takes place in the 50s. She did some, neo-noirs and stuff. And so, of course, that comes from the classic period, film noir in the 90s again. So she played like, a variation on the femme fatale, like in films like The Hot Spot. And again, those were even though she was the object of desire, I actually have never seen that, but they quote Dennis Hopper saying that what she does in The Hot Spot was, pretty daring and pretty gutsy, So again, I'll have to see that. But there's a lot that he points out about her, and he, talks about her early life and her career as a model, and, again, the challenge of the transition into adult roles, but she did it successfully. And so how hard that is for anyone in Hollywood. The next one is Jim Hemphill, Jennifer Connelly, Waking the Dead, and Keith Gordon's Ghost Story. So that's a still from that film. And, you know, again, such a great essay because he really really got me interested in the director. I'll get into this one in a minute. Keith Gordon, and I haven't seen any of his films. He's mostly worked in television, but a lot of the themes of, you know, feeling like when we feel we really know someone, do we really truly know them? Or are there things that we can really never know about anybody? And so those are the kind of themes that he explored, among others. And so he talks really passionately about not just this film, Waking the Dead, but also the work of Keith Gordon in general. And then there's a couple of other ones. So then it's about the next film here, House of Sand and Fog. Again, I'll get into the Blu-ray in a second. This one's called No Direction Home, House of Sand and Fog, also by Blake Howard, and also, you know, gives a really great essay on this film. And really, again, as the reader and as someone who didn't know Waking the Dead and House of Sand and Fog, they really piqued my interest after reading these essays. So this is also a great addition. So let me just get into this. 241 is the spine number. And again, if you want to take a screenshot, it's also loaded with special features. These, by the way, from everything, is region free. So I believe wherever you are in the world, double check though. But I believe these Blu-rays will work anywhere. I mean, I'm in Canada and it works fine here. So yeah, double check where you are. But from everything I've read, it's region free. Let me just read the synopsis. When one man's 70s idealism confronts his 80s aspirations, he begins an emotional roller coaster that brings ghosts back to life and asks the ultimate question: does love conquer all, even death? Special features: 1080p high definition presentation from a 2K scan, audio commentary by director Keith Gordon, audio commentary by film critic Bill J. Abiri. I hope I have that right. That was done this year. The Sum Total of Change, interview with director Keith Gordon, also done this year. Desperately Clinging to Utopian Ideals, an interview with actor Billy Crudup, 2023. An archival making of featurette, and deleted scenes with optional audio commentary by director Keith Gordon, as well as a theatrical trailer. So that is a lot of special features. So I'm looking forward to jumping into this. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And then the last one, again, is House of Sand and Fog. I remember when this came out. Seemed to make an impression at the time. This is spine number 242. If you want to take a screenshot to later on read what the DVD, the Blu-ray offers. So I'll just read the back. An Iranian colonel forced to flee the life he once knew pours the remainder of his life savings into the purchase of a house that he believes will at least bring back his family's prosperity. This is a 1080p high-definition presentation from a 2K scan. Audio commentary by actor Ben Kingsley, director Vadim Perelman, and novelist Andre Dubout III. I hope I have that pronounced correctly. When the Fog Clears, director Vadim Perelman, 20 years later, from 2023. Building the House, editor Lisa Zano-Churgin on House of Sand and Fog, 2023. Finding Nady, a conversation with actress Shoreh Aghdasulu from 2023. Again, I apologize if I'm not correcting these well. I'm doing my best. Deleted scenes with optional audio commentary by Vadim Perelman. Archival behind-the-scenes featurette. And Shoreh Aghdasulu audition footage. Slideshow with comments by cast and crew. So again, loaded with special features. Let's just take a look at the inside. There's our sticker. We've got Ben Kingsley and Jennifer Connelly. I'll pop the disc. See, again, just like it said in the booklet, look at her intensity, right? And the piercing glaze, which really adds a real depth to her performances, I feel. There's our disc. Let me also open these ones up. You know, they do such a great job, Imprint, with these cases and booklets. And I'll just pop the disc. I imagine that's Billy Crudup, yeah. Billy Crudup and Jennifer Connelly on the inside. I just love the presentations because you feel the love and care and passion that went into it that really makes each release so special. And let me just show the inside of Career Opportunities. Fantastic. Inside the target. Pop the disc just so you can see it. And if you need a coffee maker or anything, run over to Target. And there's the sticker on the disc. Just pop that out. I should also point out, even though this box set is geared towards Jennifer Connelly and, even on the special features, they obviously mention her. Obviously, she's the lead in all these movies, but it's not as though the individual Blu-rays are dedicated totally to her. It's mainly that the box set is highlighting that these are all from her. And again, it's just a really great way to package these three films and for you to look at it from different angles. In particular, the angle of Jennifer. I'll just show this because I know I mentioned this is stuck, but this was what sticks to the back. But see, you can just slide it in, and then we have fits nicely. So yeah, like I said, it's a different perspective, and it's a different from the actor's perspective, and so. We get so many features, but the main, just from the box set right here, we see that it is the focus is on, and not necessarily the focus, I should say, but what the box set is really encouraging you to do is to look at not only her performances, but really the evolution from her performances on these three films, because we have, the teen comedies, which then went to more mature parts like Waking the Dead, which again, as they said in the essays, Waking the Dead was such a turning point for her, and people started to see her in a new light. And then House of Sand and Fog, which again was like a really dramatic part, where she's, her character, again, I still have to see it, but her character is dealing with being evicted and is recently divorced and has some, severe problems. So again, what a great way to release Blu-rays, and from the perspective of more of a focal point on the actor by highlighting these incredible performances and the evolution of a great actor in the box set. So highly recommend getting it. I will leave the link in the description box below for where you can purchase this from Imprint Films. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I want to thank all of my members on Patreon. If you're interested in becoming a member of my Patreon and receiving exclusive content created by me month in and month out, head over to the link patreon.com/RobertBellissimo@the-movies for full details. You can also leave a donation directly to my YouTube channel by pressing the thanks link, which you will find right below the video frame. Just click on the thanks link, and from there, you can leave a donation if you choose to. And lastly, if this is your first time here on my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing by pressing the Robert Bellissimo at the Movies logo, which you will find floating above my head in the top left corner to your top left in just a second. Just click on that, and then click the bell in order to get a notification every time I release one of my new episodes. It is absolutely free to subscribe, and also comment below if you got this box set. Comment below and let me know what you think of it. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you in the next episode.